Shalom Aleichem, this is Rabbi Kovacs, and our trip through Mishnah Yomi continues in the third chapter of Sukkah, Mishnah Yud Gimel, Mishnah 13, Yom Tov Harishon Shel Chag, the first day of Chag Sukkot, Shachaliyot b'Shabbat, that was also a Shabbat, Kol Ha'am Molichin et Lulavehem Lebeit Knesset. Everyone would bring their lulav Erev Shabbat to Beit Knesset. Now, this is only when the temple stood, and Bezrat Hashem will have a temple again very soon, but nowadays we do not do this. When the temple was standing, then the mitzvah of taking the Arba Minim on the first day was Doche Shabbat. Nowadays we do not take, we're going to see there's a gezerah, people might carry, we do not take our lulav and etrog, etc., to Beit Knesset or anywhere on Shabbat. We treat it as muksa on Shabbat nowadays. So here they took their 4 species, Erev Shabbat, to Beit Knesset, V'lemacharat, the next day, which was Shabbat, Mashkimim Ubayin, they would get up early and come to davening, come to shul, Kol Echad Ve'echad, and each person, Makir et Shelo, would recognize his own lulav, V'notlo, and take his lulav, take his Arba Minim. So it's a good idea to write your name or have some sort of siman on your lulav and your etrog, etc. Because our sages said, Ein Adam Yotze Yedei Chovato, a person has not fulfilled his obligation, Biyom Tov Rishon, on the first day, Shel Chag of Sukkot, B'lulavo Shel Chavero, with somebody else's etrog. Remember, we said it has to be lachem. This is the reason that a stolen etrog or stolen lulav is puzzle for the mitzvah, can't be used. It has to be lachem, it has to be yours. So you need to have your own Arba Minim, your own 4 species, on the first day. Shar Yemot HaChag, but the rest of the days of the festival, Adam Yotze Yedei Chavato B'lulav V'Shel Chavero. You could be Yotze with somebody else's lulav. Now, if a person really did not have 4 species on the first day, he didn't own them, but somebody else did, then somebody else could give them as a gift on condition to return. So then temporarily they would belong to the second person, the person who was lulav deficient, and he could really own it for a time and then give it back, and that would work. However, there is a wrinkle in that halacha of giving in order that the recipient give it back, is that this wouldn't work with a katan, with a child under bar mitzvah age. If you give it to him, then the giving from an adult to a child is a full deraisa level giving, but the giving back of a child to an adult is not. So you have to really use your Arba Minim. The adults have to use their Arba Minim before they give to the children. This is why on airplanes they say put your own oxygen mask on first before you assist the children. It's exactly the same halacha. I mean, lav dafka exactly. But let's go on to Mishnah Yud Dalet. Rabbi Yossi Omer Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, the first day of the festival of Sukkot, Shachaliyot b'Shabbat, that is also Shabbat. V'shachach, and somebody forgot it was Shabbat. V'hotzi et the lulav l'shut rabim, he took his lulav out to the public domain. That's a big problem. That's an Isser Deraisa on Shabbos to be carrying things around in a public domain, as we defined in Masechet Shabbat. Now again, as we saw in the last Mishnah, this is why they would bring their lulav Erev Shabbos, and why we don't bring our lulav at all on Shabbos, or even on Erev Shabbos. We don't use it at all on Shabbos nowadays without the temple. But here, Rabbi Yossi says, pater. He's pater from bringing a carbon on Shabbos. He's not really over on Shabbos, mipnei shehotziu b'reshut, because he took it out with permission. Now the Gemara explains it's not really permission, it's reshut mitzvah. He's really in mitzvah mode. He has what's called the tirdat ha-mitzvah. He's tarud, he's busy, his mind is occupied with doing the mitzvah, so he's like, oh my gosh, it's the first day of Sukkot, I'm so excited, let me grab my 4 species and I'm going to go to shake him in shul and hallel, and it's going to be great, and he's so excited and involved and busy thinking about the mitzvah of the 4 species that he forgets that it's Shabbat. So it's not really Reshut, but we understand why he's pater, because he's not realizing it's Shabbat and he thinks he's accomplishing the mitzvah. Now, of course, this only works when he hasn't done the mitzvah yet. So if he's taking the 4 species in the proper manner, he picks them up and they're all face up, what we call derech gedilatan, in the way they grow, holding it in the normal way. But if he's holding something upside down, then he's not Yotze yet. You might have seen in some shuls, what they'll do is they'll tell people, if you're going out to the sukkah to make the bracha on your 4 species, so you need to hold something upside down, so you're not really Yotze the mitzvah yet until you have everything, face up derech dilatan, the way it grows, top towards the sky, then you can make the bracha and be Yotze then. Yasher Kochachem and sei gesund.